we'll do that. So what does it really mean to be a currency? And I like to start with this slide a lot because what it is just to be a transaction or some sort of medium that connects goods and services in an economy. And that's exactly what we have achieved here with the L0 and DAG as well. But there are some key features that differentiate us from both our competition and just the traditional finance of today. So one of these is normalized access. So in addition, similarly to proof of stake networks and DPoS, access to sort of network resources can be connected to the stake inside of someone's address. And so this can be factored into any kind of calculation, whether it comes from, validated rewards to bandwidth. This really just, boils down to the decision of, the team that is hosting the state channel and something that is tied to your economics. So this is really the main lever that we can tie, as well as just hosting nodes in order to make sure that we have access to the network. And I took this from our most recent paper that we released from token economics. And this is a representation of the stake versus bandwidth there. And so there's lots of different ways that we can model this, and we can sort of change that graph depending on how you would like to define a currency associated to your state channel. And then there's also a bit of a shift in terms of what does it mean to actually be an L0 token, and what does that mean from an economic perspective? Well, that gives us this new class of data type called an emission. So this concept of an emission that has been floated around, at least inside of our internal working groups, and at least definitely in our technical working groups, is really meant to be some kind of symmetric dual to a transaction. And what this does is it rebalances DAG amounts across different potential, dimensions one could think of within the L0 layer. And so emission is basically a way in which we can make a transaction with a liquidity pool, which is basically a representation of, some type of financial value, but also network resources that can be tapped upon. That is the interface between someone's state channel or base layer and all other state channels and thus base layers, and that happens on the L0. So and this from the concept of like a cross-chain perspective, this is really meant to be sort of like a ERC20 like interface that can solve a lot of problems with cross-chain liquidity out of the box, and basically give individuals the opportunity to create cross-chain tokens and applications with a verified and reusable interface.